I dwell in possibility, said the revolutionary 19th century poet Emily Dickinson. Did you know she was a Unitarian? I dwell in possibility. A fairer house than froze, more numerous of window, superior for doors. So says her first stanza. Here she tells us that living in possibility gives her windows to the world and doors to explore those possibilities. Of visitors the fairest, she continues, for occupation this, the spreading of my narrow hands to gather paradise. Living in possibility, Dickinson says, offers her encounter with people she might not otherwise meet, ideas she might not otherwise consider, and for her occupation, she dwells in possibility that invites her to open her hands to paradise. Now, gauging by her body of work, I doubt that she meant heaven in any conventional sense when she wrote that word paradise. She meant more the goodness and the beauty and the courage and the love and the fairness and the compassion and the truths at hand and the progress toward a better world and better selves that are open to us when we dare to live in possibility. And so we begin our monthly theme for January 2019, to be a people of possibility, to be a people of personal unfolding and prophetic vision for what we could be if only we were brave enough, if only we understood that we could, and if only we didn't have to go there alone. Oh wait, we don't. We don't have to go there alone. As with every passing year, we arrive in January with things to look forward to and things better left behind. We always do. It's part of being human. It's part of being spirit. It's part of being in a dynamic relationship with ourselves and one another and with the world and with life. It would seem routine in many aspects, just another turn of the calendar and the same old jokes about remembering to write 2019 on our checks. Do we still write checks? But this year, this new year, we are yet in the midst of what is proving itself to be what the wise ones told us was coming and what the forward-facing seers are telling us, that we are in the midst of a profound paradigm shift in our world, in body and in mind and in spirit. It's a time when truths we have held to be self-evident seem to be proving that perhaps they weren't so self-evident at all. A time when we feel like we may teeter on the precipice of repeating some of humanity's worst chapters. We found that the veneers of our comfortability were far more fragile than we imagined. And while we rail against the blindness and the behaviors, the bad behaviors of others, we are horrified to find that we ourselves can be just as blind and behave just as badly. Proving true Eugene V. Debs' declaration while on trial for sedition for protesting capitalism in the early 1900s, when he said, "I recognize my kinship with all living things and make up my mind that I am not one bit better than the meanest on earth." Now, I know that my upset and the general anxiety by the rise of hatred and cruelty is actually sourced in privilege. My friends and colleagues of color or of immigrant status or transgender or otherwise left pushed to the margins of the dominant culture and the status quo remind me that these things are not new, they're only getting revealed in new ways. The indignities and the aggressions and the anxieties that are part of normal life for too many among us are only being brought into the spotlight. Living through an era of upheaval is tough, but we're made for it. Discovering the institutions we thought were solid and stable aren't. It's tough, but we're made for it. Learning people we thought were stable and solid, but aren't. It's tough, but we're made for it. Moments of waking when we realize that we ourselves aren't what we thought. It's tough, but we're made for it. Our faith prepares us for these things. When we discover that things we believed with our whole hearts were eternally true crumble, and it feels the whole earth could go out from under us. It's tough, but we're made for it. To dwell in possibility is not all hearts and flowers, my beloved ones. No, to dwell in possibility means living with the possibility of change. No, wait a minute. The probability of change. No, wait a minute. The absolute guarantee of change. Living in possibility is wonder, and it is worry. And we come here to help balance these things out and figure out a way through, not alone. This led me to think about Nietzsche, another 19th century visionary. It is impossible to dwell in possibility and remain as we are. Because listen to what Nietzsche says. A thought, even a possibility, can shatter and transform us. A thought, a possibility, can shatter and transform us. Too often we want to be transformed, but we don't want to break anything. One of my favorite cartoons is of a speaker before a congregation, and the speaker says, "Who wants change?" Everybody's hand goes up. The next panel, the speaker says, "Who wants to change?" Me neither. Except the things I choose to change, think I ought to change. This morning we will share a moment of reflection on the things that we can change, things that we want to change, things that we must change to move forward. As we share our annual fire communion, we'll release the old and make way for the new. We'll consider what to offer to the fire and leave behind us in the old year. What regrets and sorrows and fears and disappointments and illusions we're ready to release. What have you carried to the gateway of this new year that you would like to let go? What things have you said and done that you wish you hadn't? What things didn't you say and do that you wish you did? What no longer serves your purpose on this planet? What still weighs you down and slows you down and keeps you down too far to see the possibilities extending before you? I'd like to ask the ushers to come and bring our baskets this morning. In these baskets, you will find white paper, green paper, and a pencil or a pen. Take whatever works for you. And as it comes to you, think about what you will write first on the white paper. With the new year extending out in front of you, what would you leave behind? What would you give to the fire? What would you dearly love to see go up in smoke? Whatever that is, write it on the white paper. And in a minute we will get a chance to give it to the universal fire of change. When you have written on your white paper what it is you wish to release into the fire,
White paper.
whenever you're ready, come forward. If you'd like for me to place it in the fire for you, I would be glad to do that.
Yes, that's one we're burning. Things you want Once it's ready. Source of all, we release into the purifying fire all that holds us back and holds us down. We let go of the past and ask that we learn from it how better to live our lives this new day, this new year, this new era that is upon us. We release these things and ask that we learn to forgive others and ourselves. Amen. And now that we've released the old, we will welcome the new. As the basket passed, you may have already picked up your green paper, or you may have used your green paper for your release. That's fine. We have more. So please raise your hand if you need a piece of the green paper. Think of the good things. Think of the things you did right in 2018. Things you did well. The things you want to carry into the new year. Or maybe there's something that you specifically want to try to manifest this year in your life and in yourself. The time has finally come. What are your dreams for the days ahead? What are your hopes? What is your vision? What is your possibility? Write that on your green paper. Take a moment to write it down, and when you've written it down, fold it up. Put it someplace you're going to remember where it is. I put mine in my wallet where I have to see it every time I need to spend money. It says, don't spend money. Put it on your tack board at the office. Put it on your refrigerator at home. Put it on your dashboard in the car. Any place. Put it as a message on your phone. It pops up and says, hey, remember me? This is what you want to be in this new year. And likewise, we pray, source of all. We open ourselves to the possibilities arising in the days ahead. We seek the fortitude to live into our possibilities with our whole selves. May we realize the power within us to manifest passion and compassion, justice and joy, healing and hope for the world around us and within us. Amen. One word of caution. Dwell in possibility can tempt us to perfectionism. When possibility invites us to be transformed, we risk moving more carefully, less creatively. We risk trying to put ourselves back together just so. Especially if we seek to return to comfort. We seek to put ourselves back together so this doesn't happen again. I guarantee you transformation will come again. I love the beloved writer Anne Lamott's instruction in this. Perfectionism is the voice of the oppressor, the enemy of the people. It will keep you cramped and confused your whole life. It is the main obstacle between you and creation. I think perfectionism is based on the obsessive belief that if you run carefully enough and hit each stepping stone just right, you will never have to die. But the truth is, you'll die anyway. And a lot of people who weren't even looking at their feet will get there just as fast, if not faster, and have a whole lot more fun doing it. As we come into this new year together, let us dare to dwell in possibility and be terribly, wonderfully, marvelously imperfect doing it. May 2019 find us willing enough, courageous enough, faithful enough, loving enough to live our unfolding as that rose, as individuals and as this beloved community, so that prophetic vision can come into us and through us and utterly transform ourselves, our community, and the world we hope to build. May we live the change. May we be the change in this new year. May it ever be so. May we be people who practice possibility, personal unfolding, and prophetic vision. Amen and amen, aho and ashe, namaste. Blessed be. And so it is.